Hey there, I'm Daniel Norton, and I have in my hand the brand new Leica Q3 43. 43? Yes, 43 millimeters. This camera is equipped with a brand new 43 millimeter Summicron APO. That's apochromatically corrected for those of you that aren't in the know. So what is APO and why is this so special? Let's just jump right into there because this is huge. This is the first Q3 with an APO lens. Effectively, when light comes in, don't worry, it won't be too long. Effectively, when light comes into your lens, the blue and green waves come in at a different point of the lens than the red. This creates things like chromatic aberrations and makes the image not quite as sharp. An APO lens corrects that. All of the light comes in the same point on the lens, eliminating chromatic aberrations and creating an ultra sharp image. So 43 millimeters is kind of interesting. If you get into the math of this, wow, we're getting really scientific today. Basically, this is the normal lens. A lot of people will say 50 because that's what we've come to know. But when you actually do the math on the size of the sensor, 43 gives you the normal perspective. And what's nice about this is it's a little bit longer than the 35, so you don't get that wide angle. It's a little bit shorter than the 50, which gives you a little more breathing room. This is going to give us a great all-around lens for street photography, documentary, even portrait photography, which is what I'm going to use it for today. I've always loved shooting with rangefinder cameras, and I've been shooting Leica digital for a while. And a lot of people will say to me, oh, that's street photography type camera. And yes, awesome, street photography, documentary. But I love using it in the studio as well. So I thought I would bring my friend Brent in and we'd do some shots. First, we shot with some natural light outside just to kind of get a feel for that, the dynamic range and all the fun of just shooting out there, right? Then we came into the studio and shot some more standardized portraits. And this does have a flash shoe and you certainly could use flash with it. But for that same feel that I like with this camera, I decided to use a continuous light. I find it works really well and, you know, f2 lens, amazing high ISO performance. You don't have to worry too much about using a constant light source. One of the great features about this Q343 is that it uses a frame line feature. So basically this is a digital punch in, but the way it does it, it doesn't just zoom your viewfinder, it actually puts the frame lines in there as if you were shooting with a rangefinder. So if you're somebody like me that likes shooting with a rangefinder, you get all that benefit, basically seeing outside the frame. When I'm shooting 43, obviously I see everything, but when I put in 60 or 75, I can see all that space outside my frame. Awesome for street photography, documentary, waiting for something to come in the shot, and also just making sure, you know, your videographer isn't in the frame when you're trying to shoot. You have that problem, right? As you might expect, from Leica, this camera is built. It is a full metal frame, magnesium leather cover in this light gray. It's a beautiful camera, I must say. This camera is meant to be kind of complete in my mind. This is the kind of camera you just throw over your shoulder and you have. As such, you've got USB-C here that you can, you know, dump the images from, but you can also charge with. You've got an HDMI port for video, obviously, and you can do wireless charging. So if you've got other devices and you have a wireless charger, bloop, pop your camera down, you're good to go. Take it with you everywhere. You've got a few different options here. Of course, you got the flip out screen, but let's talk about the sensor for a second. We have a 60 megapixel CMOS sensor. You can shoot in JPEG or DNG, which is Leica's RAW. You can also set it to 36 or 18 megapixels if you don't need such large files. Even when you're in, let's say 18 megapixels, it still uses the full sensor. That's kind of important, right? You can also shoot video with this. We can shoot 8K, 4K, or full HD in 30, 60, or 120 frames. This camera's got a great analog feel if you like that. And you can quickly switch to manual focus right here on the lens. And when you do that, it does a quick punch in for you. So you're focusing, it punches in, you press the shutter button halfway, it jumps back out so you can see. Really nice. In addition to that, we have right on the lens here, we have the macro mode. I can switch to macro and focus in as close as 26.5 centimeters. One more thing I want to add is that if you, let's say you already have another Q3. I mean, who doesn't, right? You can use the same hand grip and thumb grip on this camera. Of course, if you don't already have another Q3, you can just get that and use it on this one. That'll be okay. This new camera is going to be ideal for somebody that just wants to have a simple camera that is amazing, basically. You don't have to worry about additional lenses, yet you can use the frame lines to punch in. You don't need to worry about carrying a bunch of extra accessories. It's all right here with the wireless charging and such. But understand, this is a Leica. This is high quality. It might look like a little tiny camera you can just throw in your bag, and it is, but this APO lens is amazing. You're basically holding one of the best lenses available in your hand in this tiny little camera. I'm holding it, you're not. And you know, that makes a huge difference. The lens is what draws the image onto your sensor. So having this APO lens, having the right format, 43 millimeters in this case, so that you can create what you want is going to be key for any photographer creating their vision. I want to thank Leica for letting me borrow the Q3 43. They think I'm borrowing it. Let's just say that. I'm leaving the country now. But seriously though, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. There's lots of stuff here on Adorama TV for you to check out. Ring the bell so you get notifications of anything new that we put up. And I'll talk to you soon. We've got a 60 megapixel, pickles.